One of the best parts about having a 9 to 5 job is the income security that comes along with it, that steady paycheck that comes in consistently pretty much without fail. But what if the security one gets from having a paycheck is nothing more than an illusion? In this video, we'll discuss why the belief that working a job is keeping you financially secure could end up hurting you. Ever know someone who lost their job out of nowhere? Most of us have a friend or family member who put in years, maybe even decades, at a company thinking their hard work and loyalty meant something. They showed up every day, went the extra mile, and believed their job was secure because their employer seemed to take care of them. Then, out of the blue, they got a text, email, or a quick phone call telling them they were done. No warning, no real explanation, just like that, they were out. Some people don't even get a heads up. They just show up to work one day and find out they're no longer needed. Imagine how that feels. One second, they've got a steady paycheck, benefits, and a routine. Then suddenly, they're left wondering how they'll pay the rent or mortgage. In many cases, they have a family depending on that income. Can they even find another job? Will it pay the same? This kind of thing happens almost every single day, and it's a brutal reminder that job security from an employer isn't always what it seems. At the end of the day, an employer's priority is the business, not you. No matter how much they emphasize company culture, work-life balance, or being a family, their main goal is to keep the business profitable and running efficiently. If cutting your position, reducing your hours, or replacing you with cheaper labor benefits the company, they won't hesitate to do it. It's not personal, it's just business. Take, for example, a dedicated employee who has been with the company for over a decade. Let's say they work in a mid-level management role, have consistently met or exceeded performance expectations, and even trained newer employees. They've been loyal, put in extra hours when needed, and turned down other job offers because they believed they had a stable future with the company. Then, out of nowhere, corporate announces a restructuring. Suddenly, their position is deemed redundant, and they're handed a severance package, or worse, just an abrupt termination notice. Meanwhile, they pile the responsibilities on a lower-level worker, giving them a small raise and title for added work. The company frames it as a tough decision, but in reality, it was a simple financial move. This happens all the time. Businesses don't keep employees around out of loyalty. They keep them as long as they serve a purpose. That's why employees who once felt indispensable can be let go without a second thought. It's not about how much you've given to a company. It's about how much the company still needs you. And when that changes, you're on your own. Companies often say employees are like family, but the harsh reality is that most businesses will replace you without hesitation. If something were to happen to you, they wouldn't shut down in mourning. They'd have your job posted online before your funeral arrangements were even finalized. It sounds cold, but it's the truth. People pour years into a company, sacrificing time and their real families, missing important moments and putting their health on the back burner, thinking their dedication means something. But as soon as they're gone, whether by choice, layoffs, or tragedy, the company moves on without skipping a beat. A new hire steps in, emails continue, and meetings go on as if nothing ever happened. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it's a reminder that job security is never about how much you care about a company. It's about how much they still need you in that moment. And when you're gone, life at the company keeps moving. Businesses aren't static. They need to evolve constantly to stay competitive. Whether it's adopting new technology, cutting costs, restructuring teams, or shifting focus to a different market, companies are always looking for ways to improve efficiency and maximize profits. And many times, that change doesn't include you. You might be great at your job, a hard worker, and a valuable asset to your team, but that doesn't guarantee a permanent spot in your company's future plans. Maybe your department gets downsized, your skills become outdated, or leadership decides to take the business in a new direction that no longer requires your role. You could even be replaced by someone younger, cheaper, or willing to work longer hours for less pay. It's not about your dedication or how much you've contributed. It's about what makes the most financial sense for the business at that moment. Look at industries that have been completely transformed over the years. Workers who spent their careers in fields like manufacturing, print media, or retail have seen entire job markets shrink or disappear altogether. Even in white-collar jobs, automation and artificial intelligence are rapidly changing the landscape, making once secure positions obsolete. Employees who don't continuously adapt and expand their skill sets risk being left behind. View your relationship with your employer for what it truly is, a business transaction. You provide a service, and in return, they compensate you with a paycheck. That's the extent of the agreement. Many people lose sight of this reality as they get comfortable in their roles, develop friendships with management, and start believing their connections will offer them some level of protection. They assume that because they've been loyal, worked hard, and built relationships, they'll be safe from layoffs, terminations, or cutbacks. but at the end of the day, business choices will always take priority over personal relationships. When tough choices need to be made, even the friendliest manager won't risk their own position to save yours. If the company decides to cut costs, restructure, or go in a different direction, they'll have no problem letting you go, often with little or no warning. It's not personal, it's just the nature of the business. That's why it's dangerous to get emotionally attached to a company or believe that loyalty alone will secure your job. You need to treat your job for what it is, in exchange of your time and skills for a paycheck, nothing more, nothing less. Work hard, be professional, and build connections, but never forget that you are ultimately replaceable in the eyes of the company. Instead of depending on an employer for long-term security, focus on developing valuable skills, growing your network, and creating financial independence so that if the day comes when they no longer need you, you won't be caught off guard. Relying entirely on an employer for financial security is one of the biggest risks you can take. No matter how stable your job seems, the reality is that things can change overnight. Layoffs, company closures, budget cuts, or even unexpected personal circumstances can leave you without a paycheck when you least expect it. That's why having a backup plan isn't just smart, it's necessary. A backup plan can take many forms, whether it's developing in-demand skills, maintaining a side hustle, saving an emergency fund, or having multiple income streams. The more options you have, the less vulnerable you'll be if your job disappears. Too many people find themselves in panic mode when they lose a job because they never considered the possibility. Suddenly, they're scrambling to update their resume, desperately applying for anything they can find, and worrying about how they'll cover their next rent or mortgage payment. Having a plan in place means you won't be caught off guard. If you have savings, you'll have a financial cushion to fall back on. If you've built marketable skills, you'll have an easier time finding a new position. If you have a side hustle or alternative income, you won't be completely dependent on your job. It's all about giving yourself options so that no single employer holds all the power over your financial stability. At the end of the day, job security isn't about how long you've been with a company or how well you perform. It's about being prepared for anything. And in a world where businesses put their survival first, you should be doing the same for yourself. No matter how you earn a living, whether through a traditional job, running your own business, or investing, there are no guarantees when it comes to financial security. A high-paying job can disappear overnight. A once thriving business can fail due to changing market demand. And even stable investments that seem like a sure thing can crash without warning. Even those who carefully plan their financial future can still face unexpected challenges, like market crashes, medical emergencies, or other unforeseen events. That's why relying on any single source of income is a gamble. The key to true financial security isn't about finding one safe path. It's diversifying your income, constantly improving your skills, and staying adaptable. By taking these steps, you lessen your dependence on a single income source, which helps minimize risk. The people who survive and thrive financially aren't the ones who blindly trust a paycheck, a business, or an investment to always be there. They're the ones who prepare for uncertainty and have multiple options to fall back on when things don't go as planned. Being ready for changes is one of the best ways to reduce the risks that come with the unexpected. The more you plan ahead, whether it's expecting changes in your job, the economy, or your business, the better you'll be able to handle them when they hit. When you stay flexible and have a backup plan, you've got a safety net if things go sideways. The more prepared you are, the less stress you'll feel if things go wrong. It's about making sure that if one thing falls through, you've got other options to keep you going. And in the end, there's uncertainty in just about everything, but being prepared helps you deal with it much more easily.